Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us today for our webinar on International Hospitality Management Education. It's my great pleasure to be bringing you a really fantastic group of panelists who represent the world's top international hospitality management universities. We were supposed to be heading out on the road in the UK this summer to talk to students at schools across the United Kingdom about what a wonderful opportunity they have to study international hospitality management at international universities, but the current situation means that instead we are having to do this online. And my name is David Hawkins. I'm an independent educational consultant specialising in supporting students and schools with university applications, and I'm the founder and director of the University Guys. I'm going to ask my colleagues who are joining me on the panel now to share their webcams and to unmute themselves so that you can hear from all of them, and then we will get going with the presentation very shortly. So if I can see whether people are able to do that, I'll ask first of all Yara to just introduce herself. Oh, Yara, are you there?
Hi.
Hello. Should we just introduce
Can
yourself?
You see me?
We can, and we can hear you. So introduce yourself if you don't mind.
Great. Hi. My name is Yara. I'm representing EHL today, also known as Ecole de Lausanne, coming to you from Lausanne, Switzerland.
Fantastic. And we have Fabienne.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. So I'm Fabienne, also from Switzerland, currently based in Switzerland, and I'm representing three schools, which is Glion, Roches, and also Ecole du Casse, on behalf of Summer Education.
Great stuff. And finally, Samuel.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Sam. I am half British, half Swedish, and I'm located here in Amsterdam. I am in my home today, as we all are probably, and I have builders working downstairs. So I'm so sorry if you hear anything. It's not me, I promise. But I'm representing Hotel School de Hague, and I'll be talking about the Netherlands Best University in Hospitality Management.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you to the audience for joining us. I should also say that we've had considerable interest from people who, because of time zones or other commitments, can't join us live. So the session is being recorded and will be shared via an email link later on, and indeed hosted on YouTube. So for my panelists, if again you would like to mute yourself and turn your webcam off, I am going to turn my webcam off so that we save the bandwidth. And when we get to the presentations from each of the panelists, if you ask me to advance the slide when you are ready to, we will go from there. So for the audience, the format today is that I'm going to give a bit of context about international university study and international hospitality management. You will then hear from each of the three representatives about the institutions that they are speaking about, to learn that not only is international hospitality management a wonderful degree course for the right student looking to do something different with their university studies, but even within that wonderful field that we have a great variety of provision, and that students are extraordinarily well served when looking at global options to find the exact type of hospitality management education that will suit them and to enable them to meet their goals in the future. So in order to start to think about studying overseas and indeed studying hospitality, I'm going to use an analogy. An analogy that my presenters join me today may be chuckling at because they'll have heard me do this many times before. But when we're thinking about studying in different countries and in different types of study, the best way of looking at it is to compare it to a different word which can be used differently. And just in the same way as there are many types of university, there are many types of football. So when you think of the word football, many of you may be thinking of a sport that looks like this. It's 11 players v 11 and the ball is round. But actually we can use that word football to mean a different sport, for example, the American version of football, or possibly indeed an Australian version of football. And so just as there are many different ideas of what football is, there are many different ideas of what university can be. And in the line of work that I have, helping students from one country go to universities in a completely different country, this is a really important concept to hang on to. In the same way as if you were talking to an American about football, they'll be talking about one particular thing and you'll be talking potentially about something different. So it goes for university. And what you're going to hear about over the course of the webinar today is some fundamentally different concepts of what university can be. Now, I'm very passionate about this idea because I think an awful lot of students, maybe because they were only really aware of one type of university end up kind of settling for the least worst option. They go to university and think, I'm not really excited about it, but it's the best I've got available to me. Whereas the field of international hospitality management education might actually be that thing that you don't know is out there. Could be a really wonderful opportunity for you to pursue. And with the different representations of it you're going to hear from today, you just might find that really powerful institution that's going to fit you exactly and propel you into a wonderful future. So it's about fit. The idea that you're going to hear today is about how you might fit into not only this wider field of hospitality management, but also the particular fit into the different ways in which it can be delivered. Now, that might be an academic fit. It might be looking at the way in which a course is delivered, the particular balance of practical and theoretical studies, and the whole assessment process. But it might also be a cultural fit. It might be that there are universities in a particular part of the world. They give you particular social opportunities. They give the ability to travel. There might be a whole cultural piece that also makes you suit a particular form of education over one and another. And this is really important why we've got these world-class institutions joining us today. So not only do you get an idea of what international hospitality management education is, but you also hear about the different flavours of it as you start to think about what you might do for your university. So when we're thinking about going ahead and when students are looking about their future sitting at school, we have a process where the students have to make choices. So you might be starting off with an aspiration. If students who are joining us today or advisors who are joining us will have students who maybe aspire to something in the future. Now that aspiration could be a very fixed goal. It could be, I want to be the manager of a luxury hotel. I want to work in luxury goods. I really know what I want to do. But that aspiration could be slightly less fixed. It could be, I want to travel the world. I want to work with people. I want to have a balance of working hard and playing hard. I really want to experience different parts of the world. But whatever that aspiration is, students are going to have to start to put into the place some criteria. They're going to have to start to look for the sort of things that will enable them to narrow down their choices and to work out from all these many wonderful opportunities that they have, how are they going to get there? Now, there's some criteria I think that students will be thinking of, and I put a slightly random selection of criteria here to really help give some ideas. And it might be, in a very kind of British model, it has the grades I need. I'm focused on, I'm getting the grades, that's what I want to do. And it could be, it's what I want to study. But there are other things here as well, which might really steer students to consider not only studying hospitality at university, but also potentially at one of the different universities. It could be that it's a place you want to live in and students are really attracted to a particular country. It could be that the style of curriculum really suits that student. When we start to hear, and you'll hear a bit more later, about the wonderful career opportunities for students in international hospitality, you'll see about it will help you get a job. But things like the fit, being away from home, and really importantly, having fun are really fantastic opportunities that students should think about and criteria that might be helpful to them as they go through the process of choosing what's out there. So international hospitality management, as you will hear, is a really different concept of teaching and learning. It's something I first heard about a decade ago when listening to a presentation from one of the institutions represented here today. And I've had many, many students go through the process of applying to all the different institutions that we have represented here today. And these students have come out with wonderful experiences, being able to tell fantastic stories of what high-level educational experiences they had, and then have gone on to be world leaders in their chosen field. I'm really passionate about helping students understand more about this field of study. And so hopefully now, as I hand over to the panelists, you're going to hear a lot of different things that will give you some inspiration for you as students or as an advisor to speak to your students about just what students can do in this wonderful field of education. So I will hand over now then to our first panelist, who's going to spend 15 minutes talking about her institution, which is Yara from EHL. So Yara, if you want to unmute yourself, over to you, and please let me know when you'd like the screen to be advanced.
Great. Thank you so much, David. All right. Hello, everyone. Again, for those who just joined, I'm Yara, coming to you from Lausanne, Switzerland. I'm representing EHL. I'm also an alumna of EHL, so I graduated in 2010, and I was one of the few from my semester that decided to stay in hospitality, and I ended up going to Dubai to work in the Burj Khalifa, in the Armani Hotel, and in a couple of other hotels. I was in sales, but many of my friends actually ended up in finance or marketing or other departments. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the Ecole hoteliere de Lausanne that will blow your mind. Thank you. David? Okay. So EHL does have a reputation. We are a very old university for business management with focus on hospitality. We started off as a hotel, but now we are focusing on business management with hospitality. We have just received a Michelin star last year. So we're very proud to say that if you do study at EHL, that you will be working at least for 2 weeks in a Michelin star restaurant, which is pretty amazing. We're also accredited. That's a really important thing, because if you do decide that you want to continue your studies afterwards with an MBA, you will have the accreditation from the US and from Switzerland, which is given to us by the Ministry of Education. So that's a big important thing to think about. Thank you, David. Now, most of the students that apply to EHL, either they have heard about us from family members or friends, they know somebody who's already at EHL, or it has just been a dream of theirs to study at EHL for a long time. But for those students that are just learning about EHL, when they first step foot on our campus, that's when they really know that this is where they want to be, because we have a very unique community. So 120 nationalities on campus. Most of our students speak more than 3 languages. And what's really important to us is not just what our students learn inside the classroom, but equally as important, what they learn outside of the classroom. So we have over 30 student comités. It goes from sports comités of football, tennis, volleyball, basketball, even skiing and sailing, and charities as well. If you're interested in event planning, there's also committees for that. Most of our students go into sports events management afterwards if they join the events committee. Thank you, David. All right, so a little bit more about EHL in depth. So we are now with 3 campuses. We have 2 campuses in Switzerland. The first campus is the one in Lausanne. The second campus is the one in Passau. You see that I've added a couple of QR codes along the slides. This is just for you to have a chance to get more information about that subject if you're interested. So you can just scan them and have a look at it now or later. We only have 1 bachelor program. So the only program that we have is for international hospitality management, but you can do 2 pathways. We have the professional pathway that you can do in Passau, which is the German part of Switzerland, or the academic pathway that you can do in Lausanne and in Singapore. Today, I'm going to focus more on the academic pathway. Sorry, because if you're doing your IB or your A-levels, then that's the pathway that you would probably choose. You can do the professional pathway in Passau and the academic one in Lausanne or in Singapore. But you always have the chance to spend 1 semester in another campus, if that's what you want. Okay? One thing that we are really excited about is our new campus in Lausanne, because we have just renovated it. It will be finished in 2021. And the campus was actually designed by students for students. Of course, we worked with several architects and engineers on that. But once the campus is ready, it's going to be absolutely mind-boggling. I really can't wait. And I'm really sad that I'm not a student anymore, because it's going to have a lot of fun activities to offer to our students as well. Again, you have the QR code. If you want to have a quick video, a look into the quick video about the new campus, you can go on that. Lausanne in general is a really great dynamic city, because we are really in the center. So within 1 hour flight, you reach most European cities. If you take the train, then you can be in Paris in 3 to 4 hours and in Milan in 3 to 4 hours. You take your car or you take a train ride and you can go skiing within an hour. You have the lake. So there's a lot of activities just around Lausanne. Thank you. Okay. First semester of EHL is a really fun semester, but also the most difficult one. You have the preparatory year, where our students are put into a group and they go through all of the departments as if they were working in a hotel, but they do it on campus. So you have 1 week of housekeeping, 1 week of service, 1 week in the kitchen, and it's always just 1 week and you learn the essentials. This is really for our students to get to know responsibility and discipline. And you're always with your team, so it really doesn't get boring. This is for the first 5 months of your time on campus. Then for the next 6 months, or for your next semester, you'll be going on your internship, which you can choose anywhere in the world. So you can really decide where you want to go. Some students, they go to really exotic destinations. You might want to go to Australia or New Zealand or Hawaii or maybe South America. You can also stay in Europe, so stay in Spain or Italy or France. It's really up to you. Thank you. David, thanks. So for the next semester, the first year was purely practical. That means that you have really gained a lot of work experience and life experience as well due to your internship. But now that you are starting your actual bachelor program, this is where you have the theoretical classes. So for the theoretical classes, you see that our semesters are divided a little bit into economics, business, and hospitality management. So you'll always have a little bit of each. Moving forward into the higher semesters, you'll be focusing more and more on economics and business. So next slide, David. Okay. So here in the second year, you see that you even have a subject called revenue management. And in business, you'll also have a little bit of law. This is the semester that you have before you go on your second internship, because we really want our students to understand what they want to do after they graduate. So you might be maybe 16, 17 years old now. How are you supposed to know what you want to do for the rest of your life? It's very difficult, right? So we really want you to try it out before you graduate. So you might be sitting in a class like revenue management and you've never heard of it before. And suddenly you say, wow, revenue management is for me. I really want to do that for my career. But before you do that, we suggest that you do an internship first. Some students, they might go into finance because they realize that finance is really great for them. So they might go into banks, for example. Some of my friends, they went into marketing, working with companies like L'Oreal or Louis Vuitton or Ralph Lauren, so more into the luxury sector. And others go into real estate companies, for example. But if you do want to stay within hospitality and within hotels, you can do that too. I stayed in sales, for example, and I worked in hotels. You can do that as well. So your business internship is the internship that you are going to use to work in a management position in a company of your choice, in a country of your choice, and that will get you more work experience. Okay, next slide, please. Now, in your final year, this is when you have already matured, so you know what hospitality is all about, you know business, you know economics, you know all the opportunities that you have. You're going to focus a little bit more on corporate finance and on project management, for example. And this is the first time in your last semester, so semester 6, this is the first time that you will get to choose your subjects, because until now you've had the same subjects with all of your friends for the first 3.5 years. Now you get to choose if you want to go more into entrepreneurial skills, so you want to do entrepreneurship or marketing or maybe human resource, or maybe you want to go a different direction. This is where you choose your classes. Then for the final project, the student business project, that is the project where our students are put into groups of 6, and they're going to work for 9 weeks with a tutor, an advisor, and an outside company. The company can be Coca-Cola, can be Nestle, can be a hotel. It can be anybody who wants to work with us. So we have around 40 to 50 companies that come on campus every semester for this. They bring a project with them, which is a problem, and the students get to present So they get to work on it for 9 weeks, and then they get to present the project to them. And a lot of our students actually work so well that this is how they get their first job. Thank you, David. But if you're not as lucky as to get your first job straight before you graduate, we do have career fairs. So we have a lot of different tools to support our students to find internships and to find jobs. 2 career fairs per year. Now, can you imagine your university campus and you come on campus on the career day and you find 200 international companies ranging from Procter & Gamble, Louis Vuitton, Ralph Lauren, you have JP Morgan, you have Credit Suisse, you have Swiss Airline, you have a lot of different companies on your campus coming specifically to hire you, to recruit you. So what happens on that day is that our students go around, they pass on their CVs, they have pre-scheduled interviews, and they will have a quick interview with one of the companies or 20 companies, and that's how they will find their first and second internship or even a job. Now, the fun fact here, I'm an alumna from EHL. I graduated over 10 years ago. And I could still go to the career fair if I decided suddenly to change jobs, because once you're part of the EHL family, this is for life. So you can use this forever. Thank you, David. Good news for you if you do decide to stay in hospitality, because it is the second fastest growing industry in the world. In 10 years, we will be 11% of the world's GDP. Can you imagine 11%? 1 in 10 jobs could be yours. So it's a really good industry to be in. If you're a flexible person, if you're someone who doesn't like to stay in an office from 9 to 5, but you like to travel, you like to be out there, you like to communicate and network, hospitality is really the right place for you. Thank you, David. These are just some of the companies that I wanted to show you that are recruiting at EHL. Of course, we couldn't fit all 200 of them here, but these are some of the ones that are older partners that have been with us for years. Okay, David, thank you. Now, when should you apply? Obviously, we have a very high demand. And the earlier you apply, the better. The good news is that if you are not ready for September, maybe you don't want to take a whole year off, but you can take just 6 months and you can apply for February. So our deadline for September 2020, we still have a few spaces, is the 1st of June. So you can still apply for September 2020 if that's what you want, or February 21, which is the 30th of November. For the application process, I didn't want to go into too much detail because I think you'll have our contacts after this and you can always contact us. We are here to support you, and our application process is really straightforward. Okay, next slide. Now, the last thing that I wanted to tell you about, if you are 16, 17 years old and you have no idea what you want to do yet, then junior academies and open days are really the thing to do, because if you join a junior academy, for example, our EHL Academy in the summer, it's only 1 week. You can choose to do 1 or 2 weeks, but imagine your endless summer. You take 1 week, you spend it in Lausanne, you have a mini program between practical and theoretical, and you will learn about everything you have to learn about hospitality and about the location. You'll have fun activities, you meet a bunch of really international people, and after the week you can say, this was not really for me, or that's exactly what I want to do. Again, here I put the 2 QR codes for you to see into the Junior Academy information and the Junior Academy video from last year. All right, that was it from my side. Thank you so much. On that QR code, you will be able to contact me directly. I would be very happy to hear from you. I hope you enjoyed today's presentation, and I'm looking forward to hearing what my other colleagues have to say. Thank you.
Great, so thank you so much, Yara. And for those of you who may have missed the QR code, Yara's contact details will be on the final screen as well with her direct email address. So now I'll hand over to Fabienne to talk about Glion, about the Roches, and also, I've missed off from this slide, Ecole de Casse. So Fabienne, if you'd like to unmute yourself, over to you.
Thank you very much, David. So good afternoon, everyone. I was wondering why everybody was blue. Now I understand. I think it's the TV screen, the screen which I don't know if it's the same for everyone, but I can see most of the people in blue. So 15 minutes to talk about 3 brands. So I'm very happy and privileged to introduce you to Glion, Roches, and Ecole de Casse. Can you please change the slide, David? So we have 3 brands, 2 hospitality business management institutions. One is called Glion, has got 3 campuses, 2 in Switzerland, 1 in London in the UK. We also have Le Roche, which also has got 3 campuses, 1 in Switzerland, 1 in China, and 1 in Spain. Recently, we have also partnered with Ecole de Casse, Alain Decasse being one of the most famous world chefs. Currently, he is the living chef with the most Michelin stars restaurants in the world, and our students have opportunity to study also with him, and those interested into culinary arts can also do food programs with Ecole de Casse. Next, please. So what is important in our institutions is really that we call it transformative education, because the moment our students start and when they finish, they are complete different people. We really have a student-centered focus education. And for us, what is important is to develop the students not only professionally, but also personally, and of course through the famous soft skills. So how do we do that? How do we transform our students during their 3.5 years with us? So the first component is the international environment. Similarly to EHL, we've got over 100 nationalities in each of our institutions, and we also have very small classrooms. So if you take, for example, a classroom of typically 35 students, you will find most probably around 20-22 different nationalities. So in terms of the group dynamic, how the students learn is very different from a more traditional university, because they can share their experience, their background, their culture. They live also on campus together, and it really brings the community together. We don't have any nationality that is overcoming other nationalities. I think the biggest nationality we have represent about 17 to 18% of the total student body. Next, please. What is also important is in order to develop them professionally and their soft skills, is the practical art. So we're fortunate as well to have a gastronomic restaurant, which also has got 16 on the go EMIO. No Michelin stars yet, hopefully soon. But our students are really learning from the top craftsmanship, people who have won worldwide awards. And these people are so passionate that they want to transfer their education, their learning to our students. So students will spend time really learning about service, kitchen, front office, and housekeeping in order to develop their soft skills to work under pressure, to work in a real situation, to serve people, to communicate, to manage team, to work in teams, etc. Next, please. And of course, this is also complemented by our professional internships. So our students are going through 2 internships during their studies, and we have a dedicated team who is really there to coach them, to help them, to advise them where they want to go, what they want to do. And those professional internships are going to help them to shape themselves, to become professional, to mature. And they will have also different tasks during those internships. They have also online jobs to do to report on their professional internship. Also, in terms of the presentation, we make sure that our students are dressed professionally, that they look professional, like business men and business women. And this is something that also helps them to develop. Next, please. In terms of the academic, the learning principle, what we do is what we call the scaffolding principle. That means that at the beginning, we very much support and help the students in their academic learning, and as they go along, they become more independent learner, reflective thinker, and so on. If we look at our faculty, 80% of our faculty have got an MBA or a PhD. And if we look at the student ratio to faculty, we have 14 students to 1 faculty member. So it's also very small to encourage also this development. They do also a lot of group work. We have a lot of professionals during their studies who are coming to share their guest experience. And our faculty have also on average about 13 years of work experience, so bringing again this experience into the classroom. Next, please. As I mentioned, the soft skills is really something that is very important so that they can really full professional, well-rounded future professionals of the hospitality industry. So through what they have done, the practical art, the classrooms, what is going on the internship and so on, they will develop their self-confidence, their leadership, their communication, but also the fact that we have several campuses where they can study, which I will explain a little bit later, is really an important point for the recruiters because they appreciate students and graduates having this mobility, this adaptability and flexibility as an attitude and behavior. Next one, please. And finally, one of the, of course, key point is employability. All our students, around 90% have a job on graduation. So the 10% remaining, that means that those students, either they choose to carry on towards a master, for example, or they decide to carry on to have like some time off. Similarly to Lausanne, we also have each semester between 80 to 120 companies coming on each campus. And those companies, once again, they are not only just the hotel industry, but also we have a number of financial establishments. We have also luxury establishments that are coming, like Louis Vuitton, the Groupe Richemont, Montclair. We have, in terms of finance, like Bloomberg, like JP Morgan, for example, who are coming. We have also cruises. We have also different restaurant chains like Zuma as well, who are coming, Club Med. So different types of industry in order to suit the different needs of our students. Next one, please. So how do we distinguish, what are the distinctions between Glion and Les Roches? So in Glion, we put a strong emphasis on the luxury aspect. So everything that the students will learn from semester 1 all the way to the end of the studies will be very much geared towards the luxury aspect. We also put a strong emphasis on the personalizations because we have small campuses, small classes. We really have this strong community feeling where the faculty and the students, they work together. They are very close to each other. We talk about the famous Glion spirit, which really brings our students and our community together. And we also put a strong emphasis on the corporate aspect for those who want to have important role in the large corporations, hotel, hospitality industry, for example. Next, please. So here we have an interesting overview of the Glion campus. So this is the first campus where the students will spend their first part of their studies, those who choose Glion. They will be, it's above Montreux, overlooking the Lake Geneva. Great location, amazing view. And this is where they will practice the practical art work in semester 1 for housekeeping, service, kitchen, and so on. So this is really what we call also the Excellence Practical Center. Next, please. David, next slide.
It's just moving, so there's a bit of a lag here, Fabienne, but it should be showing you the building. Fabienne, are you still there? Fabienne, are you still there? Have we lost you? Okay, everybody, I'm sorry, I'm not sure exactly what the technical hitch is right now. If someone is able to comment in the chat if they can still hear me, that would be a good starting point.
I still hear you, David.
Oh, great, thank you very much. Fabienne, have we lost you?
Me too, David, loud and clear.
Great stuff. So, Fabienne, are you still there?
I can hear you, David.
Great. Okay, I think we've lost Fabienne. So what we'll do is I'll very quickly skip through a few slides. Sam, if we don't mind, we'll skip on to Hotel School The Hague, and then if Fabienne can join us, we'll come back to her later on. So excuse me everyone once I skip through a few slides, and we will get to Hotel School The Hague. And if Fabienne comes back on later on, we'll be able to go backwards and finish off the presentation that we had there. So excuse me whilst I accelerate through. And here we go. So, Sam, we are on to Hotel School The Hague. So if you don't mind taking over, and we'll see what we can do about getting Fabienne back.
Perfect. Thank you so much, David. And I'm going to turn my camera on because in hospitality, we like to be personable. So I'm going to, I don't get to wear my suit that often these days. So I'm going to talk about Hotel School The Hague. If we could go to the next slide. Thank you. Located in the heart of hospitality in the Netherlands. If you go to the next slide, please, David. Perfect. So you'll have to click a few times for this one, David. So you can just click until all the 3 circles are there. Yes. Hotel School The Hague is the second oldest hospitality business school in the world. We were started in 1929, which usually I ask the students how old we are then, but since we are in this online virtual world, I'll do the maths for you. We're 91 years old, and we're now located in 2 of the main cities of the Netherlands. So you see that picture up in the top left corner. That is actually our first stream of hospitality students, those boys sitting at the front row there. And back then, yes, unfortunately, we were only for men. Now we are, of course, 50% female, 50% male. But we were started by the gentlemen stood behind those gentlemen sitting down, and they really started hotel school for the hospitality industry. So what we always like to say, we were created by the industry for the industry back in 1929. Now in 2020, 2 campuses, brand new campus in 2014 in Amsterdam, and The Hague, our original campus, is going through a major renovation right now and will be completed by 2021. If you just click again for me, please, David. And one last time. And we have our Scotel. I'll talk a little bit more about the Scotel later, but this is basically where the students, you hopefully in the future, will be living, breathing Hotel School The Hague in one of our main campuses in Amsterdam or The Hague. Next slide, please, David. So let's talk about our bachelor program. Like Lausanne, we only offer 1 bachelor program, and that is our Bachelor of Arts in Hospitality Business Management. We are one of the best hospitality business management schools in the world. Obviously, all 3 of us are here represented today in top 5 world rankings. We are proud to say we are the best hotel school in the Netherlands the last 7 years in a row consecutively, meaning we're really offering that high-rated program without the high price tag that you may see in some other universities. We also offer an MBA program in hospitality management. I won't really be focusing on that today, obviously, as I think most of you are here for the bachelor program. But should you have any questions about our MBA or even our IFT fast track program, please do get in touch with me at the end, and I'll be more than happy to share those details with you. Next slide, please, David. So let's talk about the main 3 characteristics of hotel school. We are what we like to describe ourselves as, and what we're accredited as, is a business school at the end of the day. So what you will do is studying a hospitality degree focused within the world of business. That means by the end of 4 years studying hospitality management, you may come to terms with the fact that hospitality is quite hard work, and that means that you will look into other options outside of our beloved industry. That is not a problem if you have a Hotel School The Hague degree, because we are focusing a lot on that business administration aspect of hospitality, and that means you can go into many different industries upon graduating. We're also a very international school with more than 75 different nationalities. You'll be in class with people from all around the world. I have friends from Hawaii to Tahiti to South Africa, Thailand, you name it, you'll meet someone from there. So that's really good as well, where you're able to really understand different cultures and identities within the school environment. And lastly, we're a very small scale school with classes aimed at around 25 students per class. And that means you really have a one-on-one relationship with your lecturer. They will know you by name. Other universities in the UK, for example, some really large universities, you're going to be in a class of 300, 400 students. And that's a fine method of learning for some people. But if you're anything like me, that's just not an effective way to learn. And I need to have more of a small understanding, a small group work setting in order to really excel at the subject. Next slide, please, David. So let's talk a little bit more about that hospitality business school. Well, we always like to say that we like to combine what we call theory, so the things you learn in the books, the traditional classes and the traditional teaching methods, with real life experience. When you are studying hospitality, the best way to learn is just by doing it, by getting involved within the hospitality industry. That's why we have 2 international internships, equating to 1 year in total work experience by the time you graduate, as well as our focus on training management skills. We're really going to develop you into your own leader, your own style of management. And this is where we're really looking into how you can become a better leader. How can you become a better manager? In order to do so, we believe you have to be in the shoes of your employees that hopefully you'll be a manager of in the future. And that's why you must do practical education in all aspects of the hotel, whether it be housekeeping, front office, reception, food and beverage, every department you'll cover. And that's so that you really have an understanding of, when you are a manager of the future, what your employees are doing on the floor and what kind of stresses they experience through working in these outlets. Of course, 80% of the program is still academic. At the end of the day, you're getting a bachelor degree program, and that means that you're going to be an accredited bachelor program holder, and that means we have to do some exams and studying and some hard work as well. But it's always good to recognize that 20% of practical education that sets us apart from your traditional kind of business school. Next slide, please, David. So let's delve into the 4-year program. Well, as you can see here, you have a brief overview of some of the courses that we offer. I will actually delve into them into more depth in a few moments. But as you can see there, there's quite a few of your more generic business courses, as well as some more hospitality-related courses, such as real estate hospitality, entrepreneurship, as well as our pre-master specialization. The pre-master specialization enables you to complete the 4-year bachelor program and then go straight into an MBA master program upon completion of the Hotel School Bachelor. That gives you a lot of choice, a lot of flexibility in extending your education and in continuing your education, should that be something you wish to do. As I said, we have a lot of leadership development within the 4-year program, and the TMS, as we call it, will feature throughout the 4 years of the bachelor program. That means that you will really develop yourself into a type of leader that you want to be by the end of the 4-year program. We have a tutor that will talk to you and make sure that any issues that you have throughout the 4-year bachelor program are addressed, and gives you this kind of rapport with the school in order to develop yourself into the manager, the leader that you want to be in the future. It's a 4-year program, including 2 international internships, but we only require you to live on campus for the first year. We have beautiful campuses, as I said, in The Hague and Amsterdam, and you must live on one of those campuses for the full first year. Why do we do that? Well, we think it's important for you to really understand A, how to live within an international environment, B, to get a roommate from probably a different country as you are from, and then to learn about their culture, to learn about how to live with someone in such close quarters, and to really get into the whole hotel school environment within the first year. I think, as one of the previous talkers discussed earlier, the first year really is one of the most intensive years. It's a lot of fun, but it is quite intense and requires you to put in quite a lot of effort, as well as attending classes more or less 9 to 5. As you go further on into the program, you will see a more tailor-made approach, and meaning that you will pick subjects that you want to study. So for example, you can pick those subjects like real estate, you can pick subjects like HR that you want to go into further, or wine studies, gastronomy. There's a wide range of what we call minors or specializations that you can pick to really tailor-make your program into the perfect 4-year program for you. Next slide, please, David. So let's talk about some of those academic courses. One of them that we love and the hospitality industry uses all the time is revenue management. Created by the airline industry back in the late 80s, revenue management is quite a revolutionary way of making money, basically. Revenue is standing for money, and managing, how do we make as much as possible? This is just one of the courses that you will study within hotel school and look into the origins of revenue management, as well as the future of revenue management. Where is it going? What's technology doing to it? And how can we become better revenue managers for the future in order to maximize your revenue that you make within your company or business? Next slide, please, David. We have courses like strategy development. So when you have revenue, you're making money. When you have strategy, you're deciding on how to make that money. So this is really important as well. So we're going to look into how do you develop a strategy to meet the goals, the mission, the objectives that you have as a company. So what's really cool with this course is that we work with real life companies. Not part of an internship, just part of the course, and you'll be working with a real-life company such as the Four Seasons in Miami, the Four Seasons in London, or Secret Escapes, the Grand Hyatt in Berlin, and they will come to you as a student with a problem. So you'll have your team of students, and they'll come up to you and say, hey, look, we really are seeing a decrease in bookings from China, for example. Could you come up with a strategy to address this issue? Then as students, you'll have 6 weeks to come up with a whole plan, a whole strategy, while getting taught on how to develop a strategy. So again, applying that theory with real life experience. And at the end of the 6 weeks, you will have to present this strategy to the company, to the real life company, to the real life CEO. When I did this as a graduate of hotel school, I presented to a CEO of a Fortune 100 company. And in the end, they actually implemented our strategy into their company. This is really cool and shows that hotel school is really trying to work with partners to make your education as interactive with the real world as possible. Next slide, please, David. We also have 2 international internships. Extremely important for lots of us because we love to travel, we love to experience new cultures and places. The first internship I'll talk about is our practical internship, and that's in the 2nd year. It has to be in a 4- to 5-star hotel within hotel operations. Next slide, please, David. So you'll have to click a few times on this one, David, sorry. Let's talk about some of the companies we work for. As you can see here, there's just a few examples of companies that we send our students on internship. You have the Ritz-Carlton in Hong Kong there, you have the Hilton in Bora Bora, the W in Barcelona, the Ritz in London, the Hay Adams in Washington, D.C., the Sofitel Krabi Resort, where I did my first internship when I was a student, as well as the Savoy and the Ritz-Carlton. The idea for you there is just to see that we're really working with global partners, around 800 of them actually, and our placement office, who is a dedicated team of individuals, will sit with you and really make the internship, the tailor-made internship that you want to have. I always wanted to go to Thailand and work for a resort, and they did that for me, and I worked for Sofitel, a luxury 5-star French brand in Thailand. Maybe you want to work for a city hotel. Maybe you really have always wanted to go to Bali, or you've always thought about the Ritz in London. These are just some of the options that you have, and we will work with you to make sure that you have the internship of your liking. Next slide, please, David. Then we have a second internship, which is related to hospitality. Does not have to be in a hotel, and it's your management internship. Next slide, please, David. These are just some of the companies that we're working for. We work with hundreds, and we have actually also an industry day twice yearly that invites over 200 companies to our campus for you to pick from and to talk to see if they have an opportunity for your future. As you can see there, there's companies on there that are not hospitality, like, for example, Heineken offering beer, or Nike. Obviously, I don't need to tell you what Nike is. This is just to show you that we're working in all different industries, 60% of us staying in the hospitality industry, with 40% going into the wider field, such as CBRE, global investors. If you want to make lots of money, investment's where it's at, and CBRE is one of the big hirers for hotel school because they really like to have our business mindset that we have in order to make the most money, in order to really understand how do we invest in the right properties and build hotels in the right locations. Next slide, please, David. I'm just going to rush through it a little bit because I don't want to go over the 15. I believe I have 5 minutes left. Is that correct, David?
Yeah, just under 5 minutes. So thanks, Sam.
Perfect. So let's look at the top 5 alumni working fields. These are just some of the companies or some of the jobs that people have. So we have operations management. It's still the most sought after position after graduating from hotel school. So being a general manager, hotel manager, food, front office management, food and beverage management. Obviously, to become a GM takes a few years. You're not graduating straight away and becoming a general manager. That does take a 4 to 5 year work basis, but this is just to give you an idea. What's really cool is that we have 1 in 3 of our alumni starting their own companies. And again, that's because we focus so much on the business aspect of running a hotel. So students are really well prepared to start their own company, to create their own concept and idea. And that's why we have 1 in 3 doing that upon graduation. The others you can read there, but that's just an idea of some kind of options you have. Next slide, please, David. And we're working all over the world. So if you want an international career, if you want to live in different countries, that's with all of us offering you your hospitality degree, by the way. But this is really the opportunity for you to discover the world. Next slide, please, David. So let's talk a little bit about costs. Hospitality can be an expensive degree to obtain. Luckily, we're located in the Netherlands, and we have the Dutch government to thank for a very affordable cost for students. You can see there that the EU students, the left-hand column, you're going to be paying around 3,500 euros a year. Okay, this is not per semester, per week. This is per year. 3,500 euros for the tuition. Why is that? Well, the Dutch government will pay for the majority of your education, and they actually have strict laws on how much universities can charge for higher education. So we're really happy to be able to offer a top 5 worldwide ranked hospitality business degree at a very low and affordable cost. This is around 1/3 of the cost of a UK university. And that's something that we're very proud of and something that we like to promote as well. If you're non-European Union, you still have a low tuition fee. You can see the costs there on the right-hand column. The reason why your costs are higher is because the Dutch government is a European Union nation. They are funding the European Union students and not the ones outside of that area. Next slide, please, David. So we have a selection process. So if this is something that you think, wow, this is really what I want to study, and it really shouts to you, then come and join us. At the moment, we're still offering selection days, albeit they are now online selection days. The selection day is really where we see if you're the right student for us and if we're the right place for you. So you're going to have a lecture on a hospitality subject in the morning. You're going to then have a group assignment. This is in the traditional selection day. Now we have moved towards an online selection, meaning that you just have to do it all online, as well as an interview, pitch, English, maths, and knowledge tests. This is really for you to prove yourself and to show that you are someone that is right for Hotel School The Hague. Around 1 in 3 of our students that apply are admitted into Hotel School The Hague, meaning we are quite a competitive program to be part of. Next slide, please, David. Next slide, please, David, sorry. So I'm going to leave it there because I believe I've run out of time. But if this is something that is really interesting to you and something that you believe would be the right fit for you, please do contact me. You'll get my details at the end from David. And this is just a few of our main points of why Hotel School The Hague really can offer you the passport to your future. I hope you've enjoyed the presentation. Thank you for your patience, and thank you for your time, David, as well. And sorry I had to speak a little bit fast. I hope I was clear for all of you. And please get in touch. My name's Sam. More than happy to help you with your future choices.
Great, thank you, Sam. And now we seem to have ironed out the technical difficulties with Fabienne. At least I very much hope so. I'm very quickly going to skip back to where we were, and we will finish off for the last sort of like 8 minutes that we've got by going back to Glion and Roches. So Fabienne, over to you.
Can you hear me now this time?
Yes, I think I can hear you. So that probably means everyone else can. So let's go ahead.
Okay, very good. All right. I spoke about the Bulle campus, so I think you can move to the next one. So this is our London campus, where students also have got the opportunity to do part of their studies from the second year all the way to the end of the bachelor degree. They can also study in London. So lots of choices, different cities, different environment, study and living environment available to our students. Next slide, please. So very briefly talking about Ecole du Casse, we are very privileged to have this partnership with Ecole du Casse, where the Glion students, during their first semester of the practical arts, they will be able to do a masterclass of 2 weeks in Paris or near Paris, where the Ecole du Casse is, and they will really get an understanding of culinary arts excellence taught by du Casse. Next, please. Now let's come to Les Roches. So what are the difference between Glion and Les Roches? So in Les Roches, we put a very strong emphasis on the entrepreneurial mindset, because we have a lot of our alumni, about over 33%, who are, when they graduate, they want to start their own business. So really getting this disruptor, this innovative mindset to become an entrepreneur. We also put a strong emphasis on sustainability and digitalization, because this is absolutely part of the hospitality and the experience economy today, and we cannot do without those two components. Next, please. So in Les Roches, we have also 3 campuses. So this is the campus in Switzerland, in Crans-Montana. This is, as you can see, a very much a mountain. We're in a small town called Bluche. Lovely, great place to really develop, very putting forward the study environment there. But they have lots of outdoor activities they can participate into. Next, please. For those who prefer a milder climate, then they can go to Marbella in Spain, where we also have a campus there, and students can also do the entire bachelor degree program in Marbella as well. So different setting, different environment, but also the same program. Next, please. And last but not least, the students also have got the opportunity to study in Shanghai, to do the first 2 years over there, and then they can join either Switzerland or Spain. So great setting if they want to discover the buzz of Asia, different culture, different learning and living environment. Shanghai is also another great option. Next, please. So let's look a little bit at our program. So it's a Bachelor of Business Administration in Hospitality Business or Hospitality Management. It's a 3.5-year program, which is comprised of 5 taught semesters and 2 semesters of internship. We have 2 intakes per year in February and September. Just for your information, this year, because of the current situation, the September intake has been postponed to mid-October. Okay, so that you know about that. So the first year, if you can click again, please. Okay, for Glion. So as we said, the practical art. So this is really where you're gonna learn practical and transferable skills in a real life environment and really discovering about the hotel excellence. So you're gonna study like trends and innovation, contemporary gastronomy, guest relations, and hotel operations, and it will prepare you for your first internship. And as I mentioned earlier, with Glion, you will have the 2-week master classes at Ecole du Casse. Then you do your first professional internship. Since it's the first one, it's very much an operational. Then you come back for the next year, the second year. So you can either carry on in Switzerland or you can go to London, but you also have the opportunity to study with the sister school in Spain and in China. So it's really up to you to design how you want to do your program. So the second year is an important year because it's the fundamentals of hospitality, where you're going to learn about key concepts and managerial principles, decision-making skills, interpersonal competencies, and you're going to learn all about marketing, financial accounting, communication, statistics, digital marketing, for example, economics, events, F&B, and so on. So really the hospitality fundamentals. Then you will go in semester 5 for your second internship. But the second internship is much more a managerial type of internship, where you will be able to work not only in the hotel or hospitality industry, but you can work in real estate, you can work in insurance, you can work for luxury, you can work in finance, in HR, digital marketing. So you have a lot more opportunities and much more responsibilities as well. And then you come back for your last year, where there you're really gonna study this business integration and strategies, where you're gonna learn about business development and strategy, corporate finance, international law and risk management, revenue and pricing, and so on. So really to make you to develop the strategy mindset, being able to apply the business theory and to recommend also solutions. And in the last semester, this is when you do your specialization. And in addition to the specialization, you will also do either a thesis or a applied business project, where once again you're going to be working also with a real company, finding solutions to a specific challenge that these companies are facing. For Les Roches, it's very similar. The same pathway is just that the first semester they can start in Switzerland, Spain, or China. And then in the second year, they can either continue in the same campus or they can move within the Les Roches campuses. And they also have the opportunity to study on the sister school Glion and go to London. So exactly the same principles. Next, please. So in terms of the specializations that the students can do in the last semester, so for Glion, you can choose luxury brand management, or international hotel development and finance, or international event management. So really up to you to choose which one you think reflects the best what you would like to do in your future. Next, please. And for Les Roches, you have also per campus 3 specializations: hospitality entrepreneurship in Switzerland and Spain, digital marketing strategies also in both countries. And in Switzerland, we have another one, which is hotel financial performance management. And in Spain, resort development and management, because Marbella being the perfect setting to learn and understand what resorts are all about. Next, please. So as I said, what is also important, next please, you can already move on. Thank you, David. What is important, as we said, is not just developing our students professionally, but also personally, to make them a well-rounded professional. So we have all sorts of activities that are organized on campus. Sports, we have plenty of sports committees as well. Cultural event visits, we have also ambassadors who are representing us, and this is something on the student CV that really looks great, because employers can see that they have developed themselves professionally. Each school has got between 9 and 12 different committees. So the sport committee, and under the sport committee, you have all sorts of different sports, but we have also like the Green Club, we have the charity committee, we have enology, we have culinary, we have cultural nights, we have a student government associations who are taking charge of all that is going on the campuses. So lots of things are organized because we want to make sure that the students have a good balance between their professional, academic development and their personal development. Next, please. I think that is it. Yeah, for the admissions, so students need to be 17.5 years old by the time they start the bachelor degree, which in fact means they need to be 18 years old to be on their first internship. So in terms of the education, you need to have completed 12 or 13 years of secondary education. You need to have your IB diploma, 3 A-levels, high school diploma, BTech level 3, Abitur, Baccalaureate, depending where you're coming from. And in terms of the assessment, also, we do have a personalized assessment because we want to really understand the motivation of the students. They have to they have a scenario-based exercise that they need to complete. They have to do also post-study plan, and we have also a personalized interview in order to really understand and evaluate the motivation of each students. In terms of the English, I don't think it's an issue here, but students need to have a certain English level, whether it's the IELTS, the TOEFL, or the Cambridge First Certificate, if they have not studied for at least 2 years in an English school. Okay, I think my 15 minutes have probably gone.
Great, thank you, Fabienne. Thank you, everybody. We've run over by a few minutes just because of that slight technical hitch, so I'll just wrap up. Thank you very much to the wonderful panelists there. It's been a really informative presentation. I hope it was useful. I do deeply appreciate the time from Sam, from Fabienne, and from Yara in putting that together. If you are a student looking on and wanting some guidance with the process, or indeed a counsellor with students who are stuck, please do reach out to the panellists whose details I'll put up in a second. We at the University Guys specialise in helping students navigate international university admissions processes, with starting off with exploring where in the world you might want to apply to. Depending on that, helping you prepare to get there, and then finally making some hopefully very compelling applications. If you'd like more information about us and what we do, there's a QR code here and our details are there. And the universityguys.com is where this presentation will be hosted very shortly, alongside all sorts of other presentations, podcasts, FAQs and how-to guides. And finally, then I will leave here the contact details of everyone. Please do, if you want to find out about one or all of these wonderful institutions, and indeed the fantastic opportunities that exist within international hospitality management education, please do reach out to my colleagues here. So thank you everyone for joining. Thank you for bearing with us alongside the technical issue we had in the middle there. And thank you particularly to Sam, to Fabienne and to Yara for a wonderful presentation. So thank you very much everybody, and I wish you a very good rest of your day.
Thank you so much, David, for organising, and stay safe, everybody.
Thank you. Wash your hands.
Yeah, thank you everyone. Hope to see you soon. Bye.
So thank you everyone, and take care.